It has a sour taste, and its alcoholic content can vary from 3 to 18% if stored for a long time. It is rich in vitamins. It is used to cure many illnesses, and it reduces the amount of fats accumulated during the winter. It is offered to visitors as part of a ritual. In such a vast nation with a low population of only 2.5 million people, Ulaanbaatar, with a population of 1.5 million, is the only urban center worth mentioning. It is an excellent point of departure from which to prepare, rent, reserve, and buy all that's needed to face rural Mongolia, a trek that must be made on 4x4s and Russian trucks. A network of roads emanates from the capital towards the other important cities. Ulaanbaatar has a variety of activities that can be enjoyed throughout the day, including a visit to its temples, museums, markets, and plazas. It also has a lively nightlife with 600 bars, restaurants, and discos. Its name means Red Hero, in honor of the Mongol national hero Sukbatat, who proclaimed Mongolia's independence in the 20s. His statue presides over the main plaza of Ulaanbaatar. It lies across from Parliament and the modern Palace of Culture. The most important temple is the Gandan Kid Monastery. It is located in the center of the city, and it is the destination of many lamas who come to pray. One of its smaller temples has a 25-meter statue of Buddha Avalokiteshvara, made out of bronze and covered by beautiful gold stones, which was blessed by the Dalai Lama in its 1997 inauguration. Ulaanbaatar is a city of wide avenues with large buildings that have withstood the test of time and the end of Soviet socialist dominance, where you can find people sitting at tables outside a bar, dressed in their deal, the traditional Mongol apparel. From the Saizan Memorial, built by the Russians on a hill on the outskirts of the capital, one can enjoy some truly breathtaking views of the city. On the streets of Ulaanbaatar, we found moving phone booths, Mongols with a landline telephone that is in fact a camouflaged cell phone, useful for communicating with the guards that surround the city. Some of the braver tourists might dare venture into the black market. It is huge, and it is located on the outskirts of the city, and you can find almost anything there. Here's a tip. If you bump into a Mongol in the streets, make up for it by shaking his hand. Ulaanbaatar has an excellent university with a historical library famous for its Mongol, Chinese, and Tibetan manuscripts. Mongol calligraphy is almost 2,000 years old. This is besides the symbolic pictures, seals, and letters we found on rocks, caves, and petroglyphs spread throughout the country. Mongol classical writing is one of the marvels of spirituality and a beautiful legacy of Mongolia that was inspired by the special sounds inherent in the Mongol language. Batbayar Dovdan is a professor of calligraphy and writing.
Calligraphy is based in philosophy, in a vision of this world. For example, if I take a look at Japanese, Korean, or Arabic calligraphy, I can tell a lot about their philosophy and how they see the world.
Their economy is based on the textile industry, and this industry depends on natural resources. We bought some handmade rug, dresses, and accessories, as well as some cashmere, a type of precious wool from goats with which they make clothing for export all over the world. Haute couture is one of the capital's fortes. The train station is a must for those who wish to take the Trans-Mongolian Railroad. It is a section of the Trans-Siberian Rail that goes from Russia to China through Mongolia. This iron colossus has taken some getting used to for the Mongols. If you want to visit Mongolia, buy a horse and start your journey, is what they advise. Some tourists prefer to spend the extra cash and helicopter their way through the country in order to save time. To each his own. We prefer our rugged 4x4. We arrive at Erdenetsu, 100 treasures. It is the oldest monastery and is located to the north of Karakum, the old capital, and the first proof of the sedentary life that ChinggisKhaan established in 1220 as a center for tax and tithe collection and to supply soldiers. 150 years later, it was destroyed by Manchu soldiers. Erdenetsu outlasted the Russian purges. Rebuilt from its remains, it still boasts a square shape, and its gold stupa is flanked by a wall made of 108 white stupas. This Lama monastery was founded in 1586 by Altai Khan and is Mongolia's most famous historical and religious building. There are sanctuaries and sacred places that are a lot older throughout Mongolia, such as the Deer Rocks, 2-meter-high monoliths in which pictures of deer have been carved, as well as other animals, geometrical figures, and sometimes human faces. These petroglyphs, located mostly near the river Delgermaran, seem to date from the end of the Bronze Age and the start of the Iron Age. Many times, in our travels throughout the country, we happened upon ovos, a type of shamanistic rock, ovo topped with kadag, blue cloths, the color of the venerated sky and mountains. Mongols never pass one without stopping. They approach with respect, circle around it 3 times in a clockwise direction, and pray. If they're on horseback, they offer vodka, hairs from the horse's tail or dairy products, and then they continue on. If you go by car and cannot stop, honking your horn 3 times will do. In the north of the country, almost on the border with Russian Siberia, we can enjoy the amazing visual spectacle that is Lake Hovsgol, the intense blue pearl. It has an area of 2,760 kilometers and is famous for the purity of its water and for its majestic environs. This great reservoir is covered with a sheet of ice in the winter.